Goth is a movie released in 2003, which follows I guess the adventures of Chrissy Boone and a lady named Goth throughout a single night. And personally, I didn't really like this movie. This movie was recommended to me by this guy right here. He recommended me a shit ton of other movies. He was like, the guy who I'm basing most of this week around. Uh, I reviewed Knock Knock, which he recommended. Apparently, it's the wrong Knock Knock. Apparently, there's another Knock Knock released in 2007 that's also bad, and there just happened to be another laughably bad Knock Knock movie, which I ended up reviewing. And honestly, I am glad that I watched that Knock Knock movie. It was a fun experience. Anyway, Goth. I have to say, wasn't my favorite movie. Did not really enjoy it that much. Wasn't, Birdemic bad, thankfully. Anything looks good next Birdemic, but just not a good movie, I don't think. Goth, we start out with two Goths, two people in the Goth scene. We got Chrissy and her boyfriend, Boone. And they're going to this, movie opens. Chrissy is walking into a room, sees a shit ton of people dead, and opens a door. Boyfriend Boone falls out. And then we cut back to a flashback, and from that same night, and Boone and Chrissy are at a nightclub, and Chris gets approached by this lady, creepy lady, with a tattoo right by her tits, and her name's Goth. And they make a little joke like Goth, that's her name. Yeah, make that joke or whatever. And Goth gives the two drugs. This drug I forget what it's fucking called, but she gives them drugs, and they comes after a life-threatening experience. So the boyfriend kind of is like, "Hey, I don't really want this that much," and the girlfriend's like, "No, I want it." Just fucking basically pushing Boone into doing drugs. Boone, agrees to do the drugs, and they both get into her van. And the van, it's the three of them all sitting in the back. Yet somehow the van is moving with nobody that they acknowledge who's driving. I don't know how it is, but it is, I guess. They're moving, and they go around this Goth chick, the lady Goth. She starts challenging them, like, "Hey, I don't think you're really Goth." Sort of like posing that, like, "Hey, you guys are posers. You know what being Goth is? You know what being Goth is? Goth is embracing the darkness inside you." And that's she repeats that a lot throughout the movie, and it gets really grating. But they just go around. Goth, she goes up to this one guy. I think his name's like Alex or something. Says like, "Hey, I want to fuck you," or whatever. Gets them into the van. Makes him basically like take off his pants, and she puts a knife up to him. And obviously the guy's a little nervous. He can't get hard, And she's like, "Oh, get hard, or I'll cut it off." And eventually, he just starts fucking crying, and I think he comes. Good for him, he comes. And she basically throws him out of the van and laughs about it. And Chrissy's over here just laughing about it as well. Boone's like, "What? That's terrible." Chrissy's like, "Yeah." Chrissy's laughing. She thinks it's fucking funny. And then the Goth ends up challenging. She goes to like this massage parlor. It's basically just a prostitution ring, and she tells Boone like, "Okay, this is funny." Like they go to the prostitution ring. Goth, without a weapon, takes down everybody possible. She takes down big muscular security guards. This little, I don't know if she's not really that little, but this Goth woman, something that takes down security guards, and then gets into the prostitution ring with all the girls, and she like holds one by her hair, and there's so many other girls there who could stand up and say like, "Hey, we're gonna kill you, get away." No, this one girl being held by her hair somehow stops everybody else from attacking. Goth, I guess, just overpowers them all somehow, and she basically says like, "Hey, Boone, yeah, I'm gonna make you fuck a girl here and make your girlfriend watch." So Boone fucks one of the girls, and they all go back to the van, and Boone's upset. He's trying to tell her like, Christy, like, "Hey, don't want to do this. Didn't want to do this." Christy's like, upset, and Christy's like, "Oh yeah." God tells Christy like, "Hey, fuck whoever you want now. Don't worry." And Christy says, "I want to fuck you." So they do their little drugs, and they start making out, and then I guess Christy passes out or whatever. She has a little flashback, and when she wakes up, she tells Boone like, "This person killed my sister. This goth person killed my sister. My sister said some last words. I know it's true. I didn't. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I don't remember this at all from the movie being established before. But I guess it happened, so they're exploring that now." And yeah, Chrissy says like, "Okay, we gotta kill her." Boone obviously doesn't know, like, "No, let's call the police." And Chrissy says, "No, let's just fucking kill her." So they just decide like, "Okay, yeah, sure, let's do that." Go into this motel or whatever where a guy is fucking his girlfriend or something. I think he owes her money. I don't know. And they write like Goth's name, Goth, into the breasts of the girl, and the guy's saying like, stop it, don't do that." Continues to do it, doesn't care, and yeah, Goth tells him like, "Hey, tells him like, yeah, let me finish the job." Christian says, "Give me the knife. I want to draw blood. I've never drawn blood before." Christian says, "Okay." And Goth says, "Okay, yeah, I'm convinced." Gives her the knife. And then, there's moments of just silence and tension. And suddenly, Goth just starts walking back. And Boone fucking headlocks her. Chrissy goes in for the attack. And somehow gets the knife knocked down. And Goth overpowers them both. And Goth gets the knife back, and she tells Chrissy like, "Okay, I'm gonna kill Boone, because Boone tried to kill me." Somehow she didn't notice that that Chrissy also tried to kill her. Don't know how, but says that, and Chrissy says like, "No, let me prove it. I'm gonna actually draw blood. I'm gonna kill somebody." And then you can't kill Boone. So she says, "Okay." They get cornered this couple with, other goth couple with drugs. And kill them. Kills one girl. The girl pulls out a fucking gun. Another thing about this movie is the kills, like the stabbing or the gunshots. They never leave an impact in the sound area. It always seems like underplayed, like this should be a big impact, but it's just not. Like the gunshot, I was confused when it happened. I was thinking like, okay, wait, did Boone get shot? Did one of the main characters get shot? Like I didn't recognize it happened, because the sound was so low for the gunshot. They need to really up that so I could actually realize like, oh yeah, he was fucking shot. Yeah, makes sense. But shoots, Chrissy ends up overpowering the girl, kills her, and then the guy, Goth, holds her down. And Chrissy's like, okay, yeah. Chrissy tries to kill Goth. Doesn't work. It works for a bit, but she knocks her down, and then she tells Boone like, hey, make sure I'm gonna finish her off, make sure she's dead. And Boone's like, okay, and he leaves. Chrissy tries to kill her. Somehow, Goth overpowers her again, wakes up, overpowers her. So they're like, yeah, I'm disappointed or whatever. Uh, Locks her up in the van, and then I guess they go to this fucking house party. The house party at the beginning, I guess, and Chrissy knocks on the door because she can't find Goth, she can't find Boone, and they're like, hey, strippers here, you know. They already got a bunch of strippers. They're like, hey, another stripper. Take your clothes off. Take your fucking clothes off. And they all try fucking ripping her clothes off. Chrissy's obviously like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not a stripper. I'm not a stripper. And she keeps telling them that. Guys are just not fucking listening. They keep saying like, take your fucking clothes off. Take your clothes off, bitch. And Chrissy, she eventually just fucking kills them all. And opens the door, finds Boone dead. Goes out, sees Goth. Is like, hey, you killed my sister. And Goth says, no, I didn't. I didn't even know your sister. But I made you a real Goth, okay? I helped you embrace the darkness. And Chris says, I'm going to kill you. Goth says, no, you're not. You don't have it in you. And then Goth gets killed by Chrissy. So, guess what? That happens. And thus, Chrissy takes up the moniker of Goth, and the end is Chrissy, now Goth, luring another couple into the van to, I guess, repeat the same process. So yeah, that was these videos have basically just been like summary of the movie, without including any clips, I guess, just so I can get the idea across to you. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it. I thought, it was definitely had a lot more heart than Birdemic. I could tell that filmmakers were pretty competent. They were sort of competent. It felt like what's it called? Early 2000s Evanescence music video with how it's shot. So I thought that was kind of cool. Got the goth tone right. I think goth expert right here, big goth. Yeah. But I just felt like it started getting kind of a little bit boring, and now I'm just sick of the word goth, specifically when Goth herself said goth. I'm sure you're sick of hearing me say goth as well. Goth, goth, goth. Yeah, it's annoying after a while, isn't it? Anyway, that's the end of the video, guys. Have a good one. New video tomorrow.